What's going on, guys? You're listening to The Engine on YouTube. Johnny Fogel, Nick Falk, Nick Freeman. Glad to have you with us for the 7th installment of Free Agency Grades, Ratings, Analysis. This time we're doing the NFC South. The final video, which is coming up soon, is going to be the NFC West, or the AFC West, AFC South, excuse me. And we're going to be going through who each team got, trades, big signings, big names. Nick Freeman, Nick Falk are going to give analysis. I'm going to give analysis. They're going to give grades. And hope you guys are staying safe out there with the coronavirus. Yeah. If this is the first one of these videos that you guys are watching, make sure you check out the previous 6. We went through the whole NFC, AFC East, AFC North. But with that being said, we're going to start with the Texans and move our way down to the Colts.
Yeah, we started out strong with the Bill O'Brien trash talk. But in our past, we've already been trash talking it, but now we're finally at the Texans.
We're gonna keep it brief because we already called this trade for what it is.
9 minutes of this, so
yeah, check that out on our other videos if you're in the mood to listen to us just completely trash talk Bill O'Brien.
But
it's a lot of fun.
Before we can get there, we start with Randall Cobb. The wide receiver agreed to a 3 year.
You have to go DeAndre Hopkins.
No, we're going DeAndre Hopkins first. David Johnson acquired in a trade with the Cardinals, along with a 2020 second-round pick and a 2021 fourth-round pick in exchange for DeAndre Hopkins and a fourth-round pick. So, we talked about this. We talked about this a lot.
We've talked about this.
But seems like Nick Freeman always has a couple more rounds of automatic ammo. Nick Freeman, what do you have?
So I think I'm gonna be nice on Bill right now. He should not be a GM, and it was the worst trade in NFL history. But since I'm using a calm voice, I feel like I'm being nicer.
Okay.
This trade makes literally no sense. As you heard in our past videos, there was talks about going David Johnson and a pick, just to free up that salary. And the fact that you're able to just give up a second-round receiver for a clear top 3 receiver in the league, he might even be number 1, depends who you ask. But he was going to be such an amazing weapon with the Cardinals, and just getting rid of him on Houston, I don't care if he's arguing with Bill O'Brien. He's more important than Bill O'Brien. I don't care if he wants a contract extension. You have 3 more years with an elite quarterback on a win-now team. I mean, an elite receiver and elite quarterback. It just makes absolutely no sense. And honestly, what are they doing with these running backs? They just went Duke Johnson Jr., they traded him for a 3rd-round pick last year, which was absurd. He didn't even play this year, really. Carlos Hyde, they picked him up as a free agent. You actually have a running back. What is David Johnson going to bring to the table? He got benched last year. To Kenyon Drake.
Well, to be fair,
I don't care if he was injured. He's old and he's overpaid.
I don't know. Maybe. So
that was me being nice.
Something we didn't mention in the last video is maybe that Bill O'Brien likes to lose money and he likes to lose football games. We don't always factor that in. So people have their motives, but also does Bill O'Brien know something we don't? Maybe DeAndre.
No, he doesn't know something that we don't.
Maybe David Johnson is just a Superman, something like that.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
Maybe Jerry Jones is paying Bill O'Brien to make him look like the best GM in Texas.
Eventually
even though he's not been good.
Eventually we'll make a conspiracy video for you guys.
But
just everything Bill O'Brien does is so senseless, and he just made the Texans a much worse football team. They're going to have to pay Deshaun Watson next season. Do you think getting rid of a number 1 receiver is going to help that?
The funny thing is that the Texans are still probably going to win this division next year, which is kind of crazy.
I actually disagree with that, but we will get onto that when we get to...
I kind of think the Colts are my favorite.
When we get to the Colts and the Titans, but...
Yeah, but the Texans have been the favorite in the past 4 years, and they've won it every time.
But they're never good when they win it.
That's exactly why they win it every time.
They have no win beat the Jaguars twice. They get all their trash games, but this team's not elite. And they had DeAndre Hopkins on all those teams. They don't have DeAndre Hopkins now. They just lost their best player.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're good. I'm saying that somehow, some way, the Texans will wind up winning the division.
Okay, but they did just get Randall Cobb on a 3-year, $27 million deal that includes $18.7
million deal for their record.
Let's just call it 3 years already.
But
so I think the question needs to be if you're doing this, don't invest in wide receiver. How is this?
Okay, to be fair,
we're just gonna give Freeman a little break here.
I need a second.
Better in the slot than DeAndre Hopkins.
Randall Cobb is this is a very biased opinion. I think he's a very trustworthy receiver. He's always he's not always open, but every time he's open, he doesn't really drop the ball that often. He's good. He's fast.
DeAndre Hopkins is a drop machine, too.
Yeah, I know. DeAndre Hopkins drops everything that's in his vicinity. I can't justify this. I can't justify it. You can't either. Randall Cobb
there's no
or DeAndre.
justification.
There's no justification.
Randall Cobb.
Well, with their superstar running back. So.
I didn't know it was 2017.
Randall Cobb is valuable though. So I mean, I'm not gonna hate too much on that signing. It's just the fact that they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins and then replaced him with Randall Cobb.
To be fair, it's not that bad of a signing, but
without DeAndre Hopkins.
But it's a great signing. They re-signed Kiami Fairbairn for a 4-year, $17.65 million contract, which makes him a top 3 most paid kicker in the NFL.
Okay.
Solid kicker.
Kind of paid too much.
This is just to blow off some steam. Talking about Kiami Fairbairn.
Yeah. AJ McCarron got re-signed with the Texans.
Nice. Okay.
And Bradley Roby has agreed to a 3-year, $36 million contract.
They overpaid him. Roby was one of the worst corners in the league last year. Not even kidding. He was really bad.
He was one of the most overrated corners. People thought he was still good from his years at the Broncos, and he just isn't good anymore.
He should have been on more a 1-year prove-it deal, and this is not. This just doesn't make sense. He might not have 3 years of football left.
He got a 1-year prove-it deal last
year,
and
he didn't prove it.
And he didn't prove it exactly. So this doesn't make a ton of sense. I would give this D+. Maybe I give it a little bump because, I don't know.
A little sympathy.
Yeah. I know Bill O'Brien's watching this video, so.
Obviously. Why wouldn't he be?
Yeah.
But.
He's probably, not allowed to make phone calls anymore, so might as well just check the engine.
Yeah.
Next team on the docket, Indianapolis Colts. A lot of big moves, but before we get to the biggest one, DeForest Buckner acquired via trade with the 49ers in exchange for Indianapolis.
I mean, this might be the big
one. This is definitely
This is very big. Colts are also giving Buckner a massive extension worth $21 million per season. Who won this? 49ers, Colts.
So
the 49ers definitely won from their side.
Well, okay.
I think each team got what they wanted.
I would disagree.
Each team got exactly
what they wanted. Because the 49ers couldn't have paid both of them.
He's talking about Eric. He's talking about Eric Armstead, ladies and gentlemen. He's talking about Eric Armstead, but
and DeForest Buckner.
I was talking about Eric Armstead versus DeForest Buckner. Eric Armstead got $17 million per year, and he is not as expensive as DeForest Buckner. But I probably would prefer DeForest Buckner, and they probably wouldn't have gotten the 13th pick, which is very valuable, especially considering they don't have draft capital after the first round.
Have the Colts extended DeForest Buckner yet?
I don't know.
They have. They gave him a massive extension worth $21 million per season.
How many years?
I think 5.
I think.
Oh, wow.
That's a big deal.
He's an athletic specimen. They really needed defensive tackle help, especially interior pass rush, which they had 0 of last year. So it makes sense for them. I bet you they were also thinking they weren't going to be able to get a Jerry Jeudy or a CeeDee Lamb at pick 13.
Probably the 49ers might be able to, or
it would probably be a Henry Ruggs.
Potentially, the 49ers could take their 31st overall pick and 13th pick and try to move into the top 10.
We talked about it on the NFC West video. But, I mean, for the Colts, they filled a big need.
To do that. Yeah, the Colts filled a big need. They
also have pick number 34, where if they really want to go quarterback, maybe you can get a Jacob Eason there, or you could get another big need at wide receiver.
I'm thinking the things that the Colts need at this point is defensive line, receiver, and tight end. That's what they need.
They need edge rusher.
Yeah.
I think tight end's not a need.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, edge rusher.
Yeah, because I like the interior pass rusher. DeForest Buckner might be one of the best. He is one of the best up the middle pass rushers. He's 6'7". He's insane. Knocks up his line of scrimmage all the time. But you need a edge rusher. And the Colts, when they won, they had Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney. So, that's how they won.
Yeah, they can't rely on a very old Justin Houston to produce for them too much.
Yeah.
Moving on.
They don't have anyone on the other side.
Anthony Costanza, thank you. Offensive tackle agreed to a 2-year, $33 million contract to remain in Indianapolis. And here's what I'm going to say with the Colts, because I actually think they had a really good offseason when we get to Phillip Rivers in a second. They got somebody to go get the other team's quarterback. This is my philosophy. Get the quarterback, protect the quarterback, get the quarterback.
I have not heard this before.
They got their quarterback, They got somebody to protect him, and they got somebody to go after the other one. I think they had a great offseason.
Costanzo is one of the best tackles in the league, just straight up. And keeping this offensive line together is their key to their success. I mean, I think last year, their 5 offensive linemen, I think all of them played 16 games, or it was something ridiculous. And I think just keeping it together and having that great veteran tackle is really important for this team. So it was definitely a great sign. That's an A.
100%. Yeah, I do too. I mean, the Colts are always going to re-sign him. No one thought that Costanzo would go.
Yeah, it was retirement versus Colts.
Especially since they were sitting on a pile of money. They still have so much money left after all these signings.
They still should go for an Emmanuel Sanders or Robbie Anderson.
Or potentially, they could next year. Maybe get rid of Phillip Rivers. Just give all your money to Deshaun Watson.
Well, Phillip Rivers is, I don't know. He's got. We'll talk about that later, but I don't know.
This seems like Rivers was last year.
I think Colts fans are happy that at least they actually did something this offseason with the money they had.
Moving on to the next player, Phillip Rivers agreed to a 1-year deal worth $25 million guaranteed. Was this a good signing?
So yeah, it's kind of up in the air. So originally, back like probably even maybe 2 months ago, I think almost everyone predicted him to go to the Colts because all the Chargers players were saying he's going to go to the Colts. So this is pretty obvious going in. But I'm not really sure if this Colts team can win. And I'm not sure. They have all this money. They made these moves. But, is Phillip Rivers going to make him get that far?
I think Rivers is better than Brissett. He has the experience, and we've never really seen him near anything near this offensive line. So he might, even though he doesn't have quite the weapons. It's a 1-year deal. And if he's any better than Brissett, I think it's worth it. Just with their cap situation, you might as well pay him $25 million to get a year out of a little better.
I don't mind the $25 million because they have all this cap situation. Just Phil Rivers doesn't excite me, really. And maybe they'll go 12-4, 11-5, which is great. But you gotta have a little bit more of a plan for the years coming up, which they do have a great foundation on offensive line. But I would have preferred for them to spend a little more time on the defensive end, getting some younger, talented players.
I don't. If it's a 1-year Phillip Rivers deal, I don't really see the risk or how that affects your future at quarterback. They still might go for a Jordan Love. Well, I guess he probably won't fall, but they still might go for a quarterback in the draft.
Yeah. Okay, I understand that.
Next team, Jacksonville Jaguars. Seems like everybody's just leaving, but
I love their free agency, actually.
First guy, Darqueze Dennard, got that one right. Cornerback agreed to a 3-year, $13.5 million contract.
Yeah, this is a good signing. He's an okay cornerback. Yeah, it was pretty cheap.
Yeah, it was a good signing. I mean, he's had an up and down career.
With Ramsey and Bouye gone, they need anyone who can play that position. So
yeah,
they're not the same team as they were. But it's a good start.
It is a good start. They also franchise tagged, I believe, Yannick Ngakoue.
Ngakoue.
So he does not want to be there, though.
He's probably going to get traded.
Yeah. Let's see what they get for him. Mm-hmm. Of course, they should have franchise tagged him. They should have let him go.
Were the teams interested? Was it the Eagles, Giants, and Packers?
Yeah.
I believe so.
The Giants are interested in every edge rusher right now, and none of them come there.
Yeah.
It kind of just seems like he's biting the bullet right now. Or the Jaguars just have kind of been biting this bullet for a really long time about getting rid of players who don't want to be there, like Calais Campbell, Yannick Ngakoue, Jalen Ramsey, AJ Bouye, Nick Foles.
Calais Campbell would never talk bad about anyone. He's a teddy bear.
He is a teddy bear.
I love Calais.
But I think they need to get rid of Yannick. He's a really, really, really good edge rusher, but he's not incredible.
Out. He's gonna sit out.
That's what I'm saying. They can. So this is the point where they can get the most value out of him. It's a lot more value trading him now than tagging him and having him leave next year.
It's definitely not.
It's not really a contender.
It's definitely not rocket science.
So
considering the facts,
it sucks to have basically everyone gone from that 2017 AFC Championship team that probably should have made it to the Super Bowl in some people's minds. So, I guess they should have been rebuilding last year and they finally are doing it, and they've added some pieces. So I really like their free agency.
If I'm the Jaguars, we've talked about this a little in the past, but I'm calling Dave Gettleman and the Giants and seeing if they're willing to do a Yannick Ngakoue and the 9th pick, which they have, trade up for the 4th pick. They'll be able to get Isaiah Simmons, who's a defensive playmaker. This team desperately needs.
Absolute animal.
And then, the Giants get an edge rusher. Plus, they can.
The Giants. Yeah.
And they can get a hog molly, which Dave Gettleman would love at pick 9 for the offensive line. So
Dave Gettleman, his nickname should be Hog Molly. All he gets is Hog Molly.
I think right now with the Jaguars, it's really important for them kind of to go back to the drawing board and just kind of figure everything out because everybody's leaving. The 4th round pick would not be a bad trade.
And a fresh start with Gardner Minshew too.
And a fresh start with Gardner Minshew. Do you think the Jaguars, after 2 years ago and then 2 years straight of not making the draft, you think this team has pretty much just missed the boat and they need to go back to the drawing board like what I just said?
100%. I mean, all their key defensive players from that team are leaving.
Say that again.
They have literally nothing left. And to be clear, a hog molly is like a 330-pound nose tackle. And David Gettleman
or offensive lineman, like a Will Hernandez.
Yeah, Will Hernandez, exactly.
Yeah, all right. Moving on to the next guy. Joe Schobert agreed to you're going to love this, 5-year, $53.75 million contract. Was it worth it?
So I don't mind it.
First, wait, I want to say something first.
Yeah.
I'm curious how that negotiation process went when they were giving him the $53.75 million. Was it there's like a tug of war between 53.5 and 54 million? And they just decide on that.
I guess maybe it will be maybe it's like an incentive situations, and he was just thinking like we'll cross that bridge once we come to it type thing.
Okay, Nick.
So people have said they kind of pay for him, which I don't actually think they did. But one of the biggest reasons I like this deal is because I think that, he's going to be great in the middle and all, but Miles Jack should have been an outside linebacker his whole career, and he's been playing middle linebacker because they've had no help, and Telvin Smith retired, and I think
it's the best of both worlds situations. Like it's extremely ideal for them to have Miles Jack, Josh Allen, who's definitely going to get some more playing time now that Calais Campbell and Yannick Ngakoue probably
they finally have that true coverage linebacker.
100%.
Schobert last year 2 years ago was amazing. This year he was okay.
So
he still brings a lot of coverage.
It doesn't take that much for somebody to wrap their head around what they're doing. It's not that complicated. They're just trying to figure it out. They're just trying. They know they're not going to make the playoffs this year, but it seems like they're on the ball right now with what they're doing.
Plus, it's going to be nice to have a really solid linebacker for 5 years who you can stick through with the rebuild.
Yeah.
He'll be a stud there.
Yeah,
someone who's going to be there for good.
I just like Miles Jack moving into his own position. That's my favorite part about it.
But I think their rebuild right now, it's so far so good. But I think getting rid of what's his name, Tom Coughlin. Do you think that was a good? Do you think that was a good?
Yeah.
Do you think that was? Yeah. Do you think that was a good idea?
Yeah, that was I think both sides agreed to move on.
It's probably also if this year doesn't work out like it should, it's probably time to get rid of their coach.
It doesn't really seem like something to get bent out of shape about. But
he's been on the hot seat for a while now.
100%.
Ever since he paid Blake Bortles.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That was an interesting decision. But what do you predict for the Jaguars in 2020?
5-11. I think they're gonna be embracing the tank.
Embracing the tank.
I'd agree somewhere with 5-11. Gardner Minshew can maybe pull out a few games. Let's see what they do with Leonard Fournette.
Does anyone want Leonard Fournette? Even if he was on the trade block, what really value does he bring?
He doesn't really bring any.
Okay, at times he looked like himself last year, and people didn't notice it because they were losing the game still. But also, everyone focused on fantasy and stuff. He just didn't find a way to get into the end zone, but he kept ripping off these 50-yard runs. So I guess that's something to look forward to.
For me personally, if our running back doesn't give much in the pass game, I don't see it. I see very little value.
He's definitely got to evolve his game.
I think the thing with Leonard Fournette is if you want him, you can probably – it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to get him. And
it'll just cost you a DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Normal. It's not that big of a deal, but
I
think the Jaguars should try to figure it out because the Jaguars are kind of going on a wild goose chase a little bit. They're just pointlessly trying to get rid of their running back. They don't really have another running back. Maybe they try to get Todd Gurley, but I guess good things come.
No one wants to go to Jacksonville.
Yeah,
nobody wants to go to Jacksonville.
I've been praising the Jacksonville rebuild, but not gonna lie, their future is still not. It's not looking great.
You definitely hit the nail right on the head. Definitely.
Let's move on.
Tennessee Titans went to the AFC Championship game. Vic Beasley, edge rusher, agreed to a 1-year contract worth $9.5 million. I think the year the Falcons went to the Super Bowl, he led the league in sacks and didn't go to the Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl's meaningless. Whatever.
He had like 16 sacks. Well,
not anything.
Vic Beasley's sack numbers are a little meaningless as well.
Not really anything to cry over spilled milk about, but.
So I actually love this deal. This is one of my favorite deals for agency. Of course, it's low risk, so like everyone loves the low risk deals. Mm-hmm. But I think that like you're giving him another chance. He's really fast. And maybe he can work in a different scheme. So that's just he didn't work in the Falcons really. And if he could be consistent in the Titans, he'd be a great addition for no cost.
I like it. I don't love it, but I do think him and Harold Landry are two guys whose sack numbers generally look better than their actual skill. I want to see what they can do together, though. Maybe they end up being a pretty formidable pass rushing duo. Yeah. Let's go to that. Jarrell Casey. They traded him for a 7th-round pick to the Broncos. It probably just seems like it was a contract situation, but
seems like the Broncos won that one, I guess.
They for sure did. But
the Broncos
not really anything like you don't have to cry over spilled milk on that one. That's not that big of a deal.
Jarrell Casey was one of their best defenders. This could affect them a lot.
I mean, people would argue that he is the best defender on the team.
They might have gotten rid of him because they still have Logan Ryan to pay, who's still a free agent. So that might have been like the basis. They chose Casey over Ryan.
Casey is definitely
Ryan over Casey.
And, it's kind of confusing what Titans are doing going forward, but, I like it.
I like the Tannehill.
Let's move on to the Ryan Tannehill. Let's mix it with Derrick Henry. So Derrick Henry placed a franchise tag on him. I know with you guys don't like paying running backs. I agree with you. It kind of just seemed like with Derrick Henry, they were just saving for a rainy day so they could pay Ryan Tannehill. And I think with Ryan Tannehill, it's just
what are all these metaphors?
You've been dropping
like spoiled milk.
They're idioms. They're idioms. But I think with Ryan Tannehill, it's just like the ball was definitely in his court to get a deal. Sorry. The deal.
It's good.
The deal that was getting done for him, it's interesting. Because I didn't think he should get paid that much. I thought he should definitely get.
We got to send this to your English teacher.
He's definitely.
Do you have your idiom list?
I actually been scrolling on an English idiom list for a while. But 4-year, $118 million contract, $62 million fully guaranteed. What do we make of this deal?
I think it's pretty smart. I mean, he wasn't amazing in the playoffs, but he fit their offense perfectly throughout the season. He did just enough. So, I mean, I think he can be an above-average quarterback, and if you think he's the quarterback for the future, you got to pay him.
I think the thing with Mike Grable's definitely proved that there's a method to his madness, and he's allowed to have Ryan Tannehill be like a quarterback who throws for 80 yards a game, and Derrick Henry runs for 3 out of 4 plays every single drive, and it's working. But I think what he was proving is you can't have your cake and eat it. You have Derrick Henry, but you can't pay him because he doesn't want to pay him. So he's just proving that there's no such thing as a free lunch, and nothing is ever entirely free. But I think with Ryan Tannehill, he's definitely throwing caution into the wind and showing you can be a quarterback who's average, maybe a little bit above that, but you can still get a big payday.
That was tough to listen to. To the Derrick Henry thing, though, it's definitely not smart to pay a running back. You've seen all these examples. Ezekiel Elliott, they paid him, didn't make the playoffs. David Johnson, they paid him. They managed to get a top receiver, but it seemed terrible at the time. Todd Gurley, they paid him. He just got cut. So, all these guys, the top running backs don't generally correlate to success. And Derrick Henry's taking up such a tear on his body. I don't feel like he has too many more years of production. The franchise tag locks him up into a win-now situation, and they'll see what they can get.
You know what's interesting to me is Ezekiel. I thought Ezekiel Elliott and Le'Veon Bell last year would be a snowball effect. Other people were gonna get, other running backs were gonna get paid more, but now we're
the opposite.
We're seeing completely an opposite. it's weird now. Like Melvin Gordon's gonna get less than he thought he was. Eckler's the only one who actually got like a decent amount of money. But
I mean, Saquon has been amazing, and he's gonna get less than he would have if he got paid a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think it's fair to Derrick Henry? Because a lot of people, we've been talking about this franchise tag. Is it fair? Is it not? And I don't really know if it is.
I think the ball was completely in the court of the Titans. Think about it. The only way to use Derrick Henry is you have to completely commit to him, and nobody else is willing to do that. So they are like, okay, if you go, nobody else is going to use you, and you're just going to go back to what you were 3 years ago when he had like 60 yards in like the whole season. He was terrible. So, there we are.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good point. And about the Tannehill thing, like everyone's saying it is a good deal. I agree you should lock up the quarterback, but doesn't it just seem like
it might be a little excessive. Like, you might need a Derrick Henry next to Ryan Tannehill for him to succeed.
But like, Ryan Tannehill is the perfect quarterback for Derrick Henry, though.
I don't know.
That's fine. Yeah, possible. They might be a.
Yeah, I don't know if it's possible, but maybe even a 3-year deal would be better because it's hard to see Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry. That it's a good duo, but it's hard to see them knocking off like these really good quarterbacks. This next wave of quarterbacks. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, it's not going to happen, but in my latest mock draft, I broke my golden rule and had them taking Jonathan Taylor at the end of the first round, just because I feel like you can draft a running back and get that kind of production, the Derrick Henry production.
I love Jonathan Taylor.
Also, one last thing, they just lost Jack Conklin, who's an important tackle on their team, so they're going to need to figure out a way to fix that up. It will probably be 3.
And they signed Dennis Kelly, the offensive tackle.
He might be it.
3 years worth $21 million. I mean,
that's a pretty good deal. That's probably solid.
I think with Derrick Henry, it's kind of just like a through thick and thin. Like, he's gonna get the job done. Like 100%, he's getting the job done. And I think it does. It's not 100% dependent on the type of offensive line they have. Like, it should be good, not bad. But if they have an average offensive line, Derrick Henry's still going to shake tacklers, and he's still going to be able to get the job done. Like, you saw him. He had a historic playoffs.
Here's what I see there. The Titans are down 10 to the Chiefs in the NFL playoffs. Derrick Henry's on the sideline when they're on offense. They like a running back like this isn't somebody who's going to win them games straight up, unless they have the lead right away.
Yeah,
like, you can't come back with a Derrick Henry.
So the Titans have a good defense. They don't. We talked about this in our playoff previews, but the Titans have a good defense. They do not have a game-changing defense. So this will be something they really need to do if they want to be contenders. They need to get some game changers on defense. Because right now they don't really have someone who can change the game, get a turnover and a snap, or get a 10-yard sack.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. We're definitely. I think we all see. I think everybody's seeing eye to eye on this. Like, they need more talent. They definitely need more talent.
Everyone's saying the Titans, they had a good free agency, but did they really?
It was pretty average.
You can't make an omelet without breaking eggs.
You also don't really get you don't really get the same the same element of surprise with the Tannehill Henry duo that you got last year. So I don't think they're going to be as good.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. But who would you pick to win this division right now?
I would pick the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay. So
why is that? Or Nick, explain your reason and then fall. Okay, explain your reasons.
Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
They were a really good playoff team last year, 2 years ago. Sorry, they're going to be healthy this year. They have Phillip Rivers, who's an upgrade at quarterback over Brissett, and injuries just screwed them over last year 100%. And I feel like when they're healthy, they're the best coach team in this division. Them and the Titans are the best coach teams in this division. But I really like Frank Reich, an amazing offensive line, and their defense with guys like Buckner, another year of Darius Leonard, and they'll probably go for an edge rusher, is just slowly improving. So I think all around this is the best team in the NFC South.
So
AFC
all
South.
around the Colts are the best team, but Deshaun Watson is a winner, and Bill O'Brien's a Hall of Fame coach. So,
this defense
but I still think the Texans are going to win the division.
This Texans defense is absolute. We have not touched on this at all. This defense is, excuse my French, fucking horrific. It is so
all right, thank you
bad.
For listening.
It is so bad. No, it's so bad. It's so bad. Like, it's the reason that the Chiefs came out.
It's not bad. It's not that bad. There's just
they were up 24-0.
They have a lot of holes.
They have a horrible secondary. They have a terrible special teams, and the ship of the Texans the ship of the Texans winning this division has completely sailed. It's out of the culture of the Titans. I guarantee.
We need to I think we should maybe edit like a Johnny idiom counter on the bottom right here.
All right, we're sorry that we rambled on for this long.
But
yeah,
it is what it is.
It was pretty fun though. Yeah,
that was a fun ride, and
we'll be back with the AFC West soon.
AFC West soon, yeah, 100%.
Yep, thank you.